All right, so we're just waiting for Miss Shay in the morning to get on, and we're about to get started because this is going to be a different show. I am going to be in the hot seat, and Shay is going to be interviewing me. So this should be a doozy, as always. They're always doozies, but today you're going to find out a little more about why I chose. Greetings, Miss Monique. Washington is in the building. I see Miss Shay. Miss Shay
Morning.
Morning is here live. We upgrading, baby.
This is nice.
You talking about me or my suit or?
You're nice, Wes, but no, I'm talking about the
because
platform.
this is fine Italian garments with the polo at the bottom.
I like the mix. I like it.
A little hood with a little,
Sweet.
Yeah, so Shay, we can't just stay on the same level. We gotta level up.
Always.
And I figured, we'll just be doing Instagram, Facebook. We need dominion. I heard a word over the weekend, and he said, Wes, I'm giving you dominion.
Wow.
And you see that little piece in the back. At first, his name was Judah. I could call him the Lion of Judah. And yesterday, I changed his name to Dominion. And you can see when I'm broadcasting, he's right over my head.
I saw it the last broadcast. I didn't mention it, but that's really nice. And Dominion.
Yeah. So his name is Dominion. And I wanted, the word over the weekend was like, Wes, I'm about to give you dominion. And by dominion, you're going to spread this customer experience gospel throughout the world. And I need you to do it exponentially. I want exponential growth, and I want you to do it expeditiously. In my quote in my mind, TI. So I figured we'll be able to broadcast on IG. I think we'll be able to broadcast on Facebook. I think we'll be able to broadcast to my people, and I think we'll be able to broadcast to people on YouTube all at once. Why not do it? Do it big. The world-class West, we're not doing it.
No, I'm on board.
All right.
Salute.
All right. So let's kick this show off. It's 8:03. Great morning, everyone. Great morning, business owners and managers, and welcome to another episode of CX in the Morning, Customer Experience in the Morning. I am your host, Wes Walters, and this is my lovely co-host, Miss Shay Norman. On every single CX, we bless you with customer service tips, customer experience tricks, and we leave you with gems. And by gems, I mean actionable takeaways that you can implement at the speed of now. If you continue to watch, you will learn the importance of implementing a great and awesome customer experience and how that affects your bottom line. And today is like a show like no other. Today is going to be a doozy like no other doozies. I am the one in the hot seat. Miss Shay in the morning is interviewing me. And Shay, it's all yours.
Well, so first of all, let me let you all know. So Wes will give me a call text me like, what are we doing? What's going on? What's going to be the topic? So this week I was thinking about it. For me, my background is financial services. Sometimes I call it financial selling because customer experience, customer service was one of the last things that, managers or trainers would really, really hone in when it came to financial services. So working with Wes and understanding customer experience, I just thought to myself, I want to know what drives Wes in the area of customer experience. Out of all the things you could be doing, why customer experience? Before you answer that question, because I know you're going to go into it deep, from the very first time I met you at a Hustle University event, I thought you were one of the nicest, one of the most pleasant people to meet and to be in a group with, to do work, to co-work together. So from the onset, you've always had this, I guess, aura of customer experience, even when it comes to friends, co-workers, and just in general, just a nice guy. So what really made you get into customer experience?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, Shay, because like when you met me, a lot of people who don't know, they know me as this customer experience, a bald-headed customer experience guy from Atlanta, right? But you met me when I had a camera in my hand. So you know me from my video years. So a little history about the individuals who don't know me. I have a television film background. So I'm a television. I was served as a television editor and videographer for most of my life, cinematographer. So got lots of documentaries, music videos under my belt. So Shay met me in that light. But even then, I always saw myself as I'm working in customer service. I just happened to be a videographer. Every job that I had, it was always, yes, I'm working at a trucking company, but I'm a forklift driver, but I'm a customer experience expert. I'm just happening to drive a forklift. So in every job I did, I always saw myself as knowing that, hey, the job is customer experience. Good morning, Shamika Clark. I see you on YouTube. It was always that I do I'm in customer service. I just happen to be doing the particular job that I'm doing. So the reason I started on this path to being a customer experience and a customer service ambassador is because as in being in the video industry, I would encounter some of the world's best editors and some of the world's best videographers, and I couldn't understand why these people were so great at what they did. I'm talking the best editors, best motion graphic designers, and I couldn't understand, like, why were they not excelling? Why were they plateauing? Why are you the dopest motion graphic designer east of the Mississippi, but when I'm soliciting you to do a job, you want to know if you could get an advance? Like, hey, Wes, can I get this money up front? Or, you're so good, but you got a motor card. Like, you can't even keep a car note. Like, I couldn't understand, like, how are you so talented and you can't? And I realized as I continue to dig deeper, I realized that a lot of it had to do with the way they view service. A lot of them had this persona that I am the dopest. I know I am the dopest motion graphic designer. I know I'm the best. So it's my way or the highway. I don't have to bend. I don't have to appease the customer. I have the product or service. And if they want to mess with the best graphic designer, they need to do what I say. And I was like, okay, so it makes sense. So I realized, and I looked around, I realized some of the other motion graphic designers or editors who were subpar, like myself. I wasn't the best, but I had more hustle than anybody. So I knew I wasn't the best. I was constantly competing with the young kids out of SCAD or the Arch Institute, young, talented. So I realized I had to hustle harder to stay up. And I know I wasn't the best, but I could out hustle any of them. And I realized that, okay, how did was I able to maintain a lifestyle when I wasn't the best? Because I understood I operated from a customer service point of view first. I'm going to serve first and then fill in the blank later in what I serve you with. But knowing coming out the gate, I'm serving. And, that was the genesis of it. And of course, that opened up another rabbit hole of more things. I would see African-American business owners. And again, no color here. It's just that I'm African-American. I hate to paint a broad brush and speak for all people. I'm Black, so I'm speaking to where the genesis began. I would see talented business owners, talented. So moving away from editors now, just, whether it's restaurant owners, chefs, whether it was, you name it, beauticians, hairstylists. And I couldn't understand, like, why were they plateauing so quickly? Again, a lot of it had to do with the service. Yes, they had the best wings. Yes, she was the best stylist. Yes, nobody could do nails like her, but her attitude stinks. And I realized that, okay, it's not so much that these are bad people. These were not bad people. It's just that they were operating from the ideology or from the mindset that this is my shit and I can do what I want to do. And yes, you can, but there are consequences if you do that. So they were like, yeah, I'm the best. Nobody can do hair like me. So you don't like it? Screw you. I'm going to cancel your appointment 5 minutes before because I want to have lunch. I'm just going to be rude. And I was like, okay, these people are not bad. They're not incompetent. It's just that they don't understand simple things. They just need simple nudges, simple nudges. And, you know, as again, digging down a deeper hole, you know, when you start looking for knowledge, the hole just gets bigger, right?
Yes.
So in finding that, I was so quick to be like, you know, these people are incompetent. These people are incompetent, you know, like, how can you be so dumb? And then I realized that a lot of African Americans they take the mantle of entrepreneurship after 40. These are facts. This is no emotion. Majority of African Americans give their prime years to corporate America. And then after, in their 40s, when all of their zeal and their energy and their vigor is gone, they're gonna be like, I can do this myself. I'm going to do this myself, right? And most of their talented years are given away in their prime. And then after 40, they begin the entrepreneur journey. Now, the thing with that is, one, you've given your best years away. And I'm going to stop now because I realize I've been speaking a while. You're giving your best years away. But a lot of the entrepreneurs, African-American entrepreneurs, is that they take on the entrepreneurship journey most is because one of two things. They've had an experience at a job and they're like, you know what? One, I'm smarter than this boss. I can do it better than him. And it's kind of an emancipation. Like, I'm going to do my own thing. It's a kind of rebellion, right? So they jump into entrepreneurship filled with emotion, and I'm going to do it because I've been doing it for 25 years. I could do this. And with that, they realize that, yes, you are a good technician. And by technician, I mean, you know how to do the job. But business has another component that you didn't know. Yes, you can do hair the best. Yes, you're the best CPA. Yes, you are the best videographer for the company. You shot the most documentaries for the company. That alone is not going to get you to be a successful entrepreneur or business owner, because the business component is more vital. Matter of fact, if you learn the business part, you can outsource everything else.
Right.
But that was the main, when I began to dig deep, I was like, that's what it is. It's like, okay, you know what? They need to understand business and all of the things that come into understanding and running business to a point where it's not that they're bad. Because I'm going to say this last thing. The Richter scale, or the graduating cylinder, or the unit of measurement, is a group of people in the dominant society who have been doing this for 500 years before you and me. Mm-hmm. So it's quick to say, well, you know, why can't they just be like, well, you know, at any given day, you go into any Arab gas station or bodega, and they have their 7-year-old son at the register checking you out.
Right.
So they learned this stuff way before you at 40 deciding to, I'm going to give it a shot.
Right.
So all of that to say, that's why I started, because I realized that, Black Wall Street didn't exist for an accident. The neighborhoods in right here in Auburn Avenue in Atlanta, the ones in Florida,
North Carolina,
we had great businesses,
everywhere.
great
California,
great services, and it wasn't because of an accident. We knew what to do, but we've lost our way in a way, and a lot of people that we're competing with have been doing this for 500 years before us.
So let me. You said quite a bit, and one of the things, well, you really drove the point home as to what you found and what was missing. And I appreciate you bringing up the point, because this is the first time that I've ever really heard someone say it, that entrepreneurship for us in our community, and when I say us, I'm speaking African-American in this context, because again, that's what I'm most familiar with. It's experience-wise, not knowledge-wise, but experience-wise, right? And so that's where we should speak from. But you mentioned that over 40 is when we, have this quote unquote emancipation. And it was very connecting for me, because I think about how when we were in high school or growing up, we just knew, for the most part, my friends and I, my sisters, we just knew we were going to college. Some people were, of the mindset that they were going for a particular reason, but a lot of people just knew I was going to school. Like for my parents, they didn't ask us if we were going to school. It was, what school are you choosing? What is the discipline you're choosing? So most of our parents were at a place in their development that they just knew they wanted us to have that education so that we could go and get a good job, not even get an education so that you can learn business for the most part. I mean, somebody really had to be interested in that. So I appreciate you saying that. And I think for those who are listening who are over 40 or under can really get an idea of why that is, that entrepreneurship over 40. So my question for you though, listening to you say that, I feel everyone has gifts to give, right? Solid gifts that as you grow and you learn, you know how to hone them, polish them, and give them out to the world. So for me, knowing you in this light, I feel as though this is one of your gifts. So what do you think, go a little bit deeper, what makes you stand apart? What developed in you from, I don't know, from when you could remember that would set you as someone who could look at these different individuals and notate the fact that, oh, it's business, oh, it's service. What's in you that allowed you to see that?
Well, I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it is that's in me. But I do know this. I do know that every job that I've done and every position that I've served prepared me for this. Every job, even so in undergrad, I used to again, video background. I used to be a camera operator for the Georgia Dome, right? There's no more Georgia Dome. So I used to be a camera operator for the Atlanta Falcons. And even then, so I'm running, seeing big old Jamal Anderson running towards me and I got a camera on my shoulder. But even then, as a camera operator, I was still, I'm serving. I have to serve the producer who's in my ear. I have to serve the other grips. So I always operated every job that I did from a service first, because you would always hear me say this, you're going to have to serve. Parents have to serve kids. Principals have to serve parents. Parents have to serve teachers. Teachers have to serve principals. Husbands have to serve wives. On this planet, you're going to have to serve. So you might as well do it well. And we only can connect the dots looking backwards. You can't connect the dots looking forward. So in the process, I never thought that, man, I'm going to be a customer experience expert, and I'm going to show a lot of people, I'm going to change their lives and change their business, change the trajectory of their business just by making simple nudges. If you had asked me that in 1997, I'd have been like, no, I'm going to be in Los Angeles making high blockbuster films. That's what I'm going to school for television production and film. So, But in looking back, you can only connect the dots looking back. And now when I look back and I look at the dots, I realize every single job, every single position, every single person, even the mean ones, helped mold and crafted the Wess that you see in front of you right now. It was not by accident. It was literally in design. And when you're going through it, I guess one of the gems for today, here's a gem. Gems just fall from the heavens. A gem is that when you're in it, you can't really tell. Like someone had told me, like, man, you about to be a customer experience guru and expert. I'd have been like, no, I'm about to have this 4K video camera, and this is what I'm gonna do. That sounds corny. I'm not doing that. But now in hindsight, I realized even when I worked at Rolling Out, it was always serving at a world-class level. Even when I worked at Turner, when I worked at the Ritz, all of these jobs were all about learning things that I share with my viewers every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because these are things that I didn't learn yesterday. These are things that I learned years ago.
Right. And in a time where you find so many people on the internet, in whatever platform, count it, name it, whatever, so many people who are speaking about topics that they really don't embody. So I love the fact that we're going through, the making of Wess in a sense. But what I will say is, that's a really unique perspective. And I think that when you're a person who is aware, Hey, we there, Wes?
I'm here. I lost you for a second.
Had a little connection issue, but yeah, I just think it's great for somebody to hear, especially early on a Monday morning, that the steps that you take in life, if you really think about where you are, you've been led, you've been leading yourself, or the world has been leading you in a certain direction. Every step you take is molding you for the next step. And I do believe that if you think about it, we don't have time this morning, but we're gonna give Wes some time, family, to think about what is really in him that sets him apart, because that's something really special to think about customer service, being in business and thinking about customer service. It sounds, when we think about the correct way of doing business, it's just the right thing to do. But it is counterintuitive. My mother always says charity starts at home and spreads abroad. So that's why I say I think it's something in you that makes you that way. But that's for another day. We'll let Wes ponder on that. Talk about one of the clients. Well, say one client that you met and you helped change the trajectory of their business, their life, that maybe was a difficult client. And after that, I want you to talk about what are some of the things maybe that you've experienced with a client that they just would not get on ball. They just couldn't do it. What stopped them from actually being able to move forward successfully?
Well, I'll give you an example. I had a beauty supply store owner that, this was a sister that she was so happy to finally get her own beauty supply store. Now, this was something that a vision that she'd had for years, and she got in. But again, she came in operating off of a lot of emotion. She had got laid off from her job. It was just emotions from everywhere. Laid off from the job. So she was about to prove that, I don't need this job. And her family members said that she was never going to turn out to be anything. And then she had just went through a divorce. So her getting the funds to get this beauty supply store, it was kind of a redemption for her, right? And I'm cool with that because, at Hustle University, we always talk about turning our pain into power. So I'm fine with using that as fuel to go forward. But when she got in, even after the ribbon cutting ceremony, it was that same energy. This is my store and I can do what I want to do. Said, well, you know what? You should have. So here's a simple where she failed. She stopped. She continued to fail. For those of you who don't know, if you're thinking of doing a beauty supply store on your own, the width of the aisles have to be a certain width because they have to be able to accommodate a wheelchair. So a lot of people don't know that. Simple things like that. So if you want to, have more product and have your aisles smaller, you will get shut down. So on day one, grand opening, she broadcasted it live on V103. We spent a lot of money on marketing, and fire marshal came in and stopped the. Now again, she had already promoted the event, spent a lot of money in advertising, and fire marshal came in and did their walkthrough the week before, shut her down, and gave her a nice heavy fine. Say these aisles are not right.
So before she could even get started,
before she even got open, $7,000 fine. Boom. Then when she got in, because I knew her, I was like, listen, you got to spend a lot of time spending it with your employees. And right now, because you're starting off, it's a good thing. You're in a good position. You're able to, you have a blank canvas. You can create whatever culture and climate that you want. And this is my stuff. Again, her failure was she could not get away from the emotion. Now, the emotions are good at the beginning because for me, I do better with opposition. Someone tell me you can't do it, that's all I needed. So using that emotion for fuel is good at the beginning, but eventually you need to level off and be like, okay, I'm not operating off of logic and data and not emotion. Thinking that this is my store, I can, yes, the hours say 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But on Mondays when I party all weekend, we're going to open at 9, 10-ish. So right. It was simple things like that where, again, inconsistent business office hours and not spending the time with her employees, where she had a rough start. And then I said, listen, can I talk to you, sister? I want to talk to you because I want you to succeed. And once she got away from the emotion, I said, take your ego. I'm like, it's Wess. Like I spoke to her as a friend and not as a consultant. I'm like, listen, I want you to succeed. And all those people that want you to fail, don't you want to show them that you can do it? And once she saw me as a friend and not quote unquote a consultant, she started just implementing, again, Shay, simple things, simple nudges. And it turned her business around. And so a lot of times people don't understand this, right? We all can agree that 180 degrees is straight, right? So let's just like this so you can see 180 degrees straight, right? 181 degree, 1 degree off. Do you realize these two lines will never meet again? If 180 goes into infinity and 181 goes into infinity, they will never reach again because of compounding interest. The farther they go, the more the lines split.
That's right.
And that business owners think that they have to do this grand revamping. No, sometimes it's just simple tweaks, nudges, 1 degree inches, 1 degree nudges. And she's profitable right now, and she's actually has 2 beauty supply stores right now.
Love it.
And what was the second part of the question?
Well, talk about some of the reasons why you've had a client that did not succeed or hasn't succeeded. Maybe it's a couple of things you can talk about that you saw in them that are takeaways for folks to say, okay, let me think about, am I doing this in my business? Is this going to be potentially my trajectory?
One thing is that I know a myriad of business owners that did not succeed. One, because let's talk about the blue elephant in the room. They were not coachable. They thought that but Wes, you don't know anything about frying fish. This catfish recipe has been in my family for 500 years. We've been frying fish.
Hold on, let me just say this. I'm sorry. This is the second, maybe the third time you spoke about this. Yo, I think this was a real client, y'all. Somebody was selling catfish. Go ahead, Wes, but this is a real one. I get it.
Like this, we've been selling catfish down the Nile River in Egypt, Wes. This catfish has been in our family for years. You don't know nothing about fat catfish. And okay, I was like, y'all got the best catfish, no problem. But again, they were not coachable, and they got in their own way. They didn't know what they didn't know. They got in their own way, not coachable. And simple things like I mentioned with the sister above, who was willing to change. Again, consistent office hours, taking care of your employees, who will take care of the customer, who will take care of the business in that order. Not saying we got the best catfish, let's get this clients. Knowing that you got disgruntled employees just brewing. So what happened with this customer is that the business imploded. The employees began to steal because disgruntled employees and unsatisfied employees, they steal. They have a lackluster performance and they don't operate from a sense of urgency. So the business failed from within, not because they didn't have the best catfish. Yes, they had the best catfish, but when customers realized that they got to come and deal with the owner was like, the owner was like Suge describing Puffy. Like, if you don't want to deal with the owner all up in the mix, all up in the video, all up in the cat head, the owner got a chef. And the owner got to get their hands all up in the catfish batter.
Needless to say, they are somewhere at home cooking catfish. The best catfish.
At home.
Right, at home.
When they could have been serving the masses.
Right.
And created a team that would allow them to be in a beach right now in Fiji or Bora Bora while their team is doing catfish. But now they're limited to home.
Right. That's excellent. You dropped a lot of nuggets in both of those stories and in talking about yourself. And for any restaurant owners out there, if you are running a business and it sounds like Wes's story, don't put that energy in the food. We don't want to eat that. We don't want that. So just check yourself and in the back room and get all that together before you try and serve people. Okay. But thank you so much, Wes. I appreciate you indulging me because I really, really just it's just fascinating to me, again, coming from the financial services industry, where it's straight profits before people, period. And so I always had a tough time finding my groove, which, thank God, I've been aware of my steps, and I know what I really, really desire to produce. And so I know how to move in it now. So we're at the 30-minute mark, looks like. Anything you left unsaid that you might want to impart?
So let me leave the viewers with this. And this is probably going to shift the energy in the room. But, first of all, is it okay to make the viewers uncomfortable? Is it okay?
Absolutely.
This is sacred ground. So let's have an adult conversation. And I'm speaking primarily to African Americans here, right? How many of us have said, you see, that's why I don't support? We all can know what comes after. And yeah. I'm not holier than thou. I've said that before, right? Now, the problem with that, Shay, is that let's use in the catfish situation again, right? We go to that sister's catfish or seafood joint, and we experience bad customer experience or bad customer service. We don't say, I'm no longer going to that catfish joint or that fried fish joint or that seafood joint. We say, you see, that's why I don't support Black businesses. So the Black mechanic suffers, the Black beautician suffers, the Black beauty supply store owner suffers, all because your experience was bad with a Black restaurant. You say, well, that's why I don't support all Black businesses.
Right.
You go to Red Lobster, Chili's, fill in the blank, and your experience was poor. You say, I am not going back to that Red Lobster, but all the other white businesses are good.
Right.
But that Red Lobster on 126 MLK, I'm not going back to.
Right.
So you see the difference in when a Black business restaurant does something wrong. We normally, the default setting is to say, well, I ain't messing with no more Black businesses. All of them suffer, all of them bad.
Right.
But our experience with the white vendor or a vendor from the dominant society is we streamline it and say, well, I'm not messing with that one anymore. So that's what I want to leave individuals with, especially our people. I'm not saying there's an excuse. Now, I teach customer service. So I'm not saying there's an excuse for bad customer. Hell no, of course not. Because there's enough free content that Shay and myself put out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Just watching this free stuff alone can change the trajectory of your business. So I'm not making an excuse for poor customer service at all. But what I am saying is be a little more lenient, a little more forgiving when you're so quick to jump online and degrade a Black business, because you're dealing with a lot of people, one, who are sometimes first generation business owners, and you're holding them to a standard of individuals who have been doing business for 500 years.
Right.
You look at slavery, and it sounds simple, right? Take a ship from England, take it to Africa, round up some people, send them to the New World. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Do you think the first voyage from England to Africa to the New World, you think that went well? Flawless? You just see that as a slave trade. That's called shipping and logistics. Getting a commodity, having a satellite office in Africa to round up this crew, get them on the ship, have enough food. You know how many times they probably underestimated how long it was going to get to the New World and didn't have enough food?
Or underestimated the people that they were calling commodities and how they would be resistant. But I want to say this. I want to you made a great point when you said be lenient, and when we're getting online and we're, reporting these businesses. I want to take it back to that, because what I would like to leave us with today is the fact that when we do that, we really are setting ourselves up. You're setting yourself up for failure, for disappointment, because the bottom line is you're going to another Black business. You may not have enjoyed the experience at a particular business, but we are connected in a way that I'm not going to anybody outside of a sister to get my hair done. If I need to get my eyebrows done, I'm going to a sister. If I have a bad experience, I'm going to another sister. So when you put this on your heart and in your mind to say, forget Black businesses, you're really saying, forget me. So we got to stop that. And I do appreciate those who are like me in a sense. Wes, I'm sure you do this. Like when you have an experience somewhere, if you can muster up the courage and the love, then speak to that individual and say, hey, listen, I really want to support your business, but this is the experience I had, and it's going to make it kind of tough for me to come out and spend my money, especially in a pandemic. To come out, I'm hard on spending I cook at home. I do most everything at home. So if I'm going to come out, I need to have a good experience. And I think that's what you want. You want to be here for a long time. Sometimes people can receive it and sometimes they don't. But at least I can walk out knowing that I imparted my experience in hopes that it will help them. You know what I'm saying? And in hopes that it will help my experience, because again, we're one, y'all, whether you like it or not. So the fortune is in the follow-up. My father used to say that all the time in references to, he was in sales, then I was in sales. So he would always say the fortune is in the follow-up. And what I want to say to the family today is it's Monday. Follow up with yourself throughout the week. And especially if you're a business owner or entrepreneur, check yourself. What are you doing to the good? And what are you doing that can actually hinder you? Right? So follow up with yourself throughout the week. It's Monday now. Check yourself every day. And sometimes things get hectic. At least check yourself Wednesday and Friday. You could do it right after CX in the morning if you like, but check yourself and just make sure that you're on the right path, because the fortune really is in a follow-up, not just with clients and customers, but it has to start with you first. So Wes, thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed our show today. I love the new platform. I hope you all enjoyed it too.
Shay, thank you so much for this was great. We have to do this more often, man. Sometimes I want to be in the hot seat, or at least just give you some dominion and be like, Shay, I'm in Bora Bora. Please have the show without me.
And I would gladly do that. Because we can do the show from anywhere. So
Shay, thank you so much. I hope the viewers enjoyed it. The people on YouTube, I see you. I see the individuals on Twitter as well. Let me know how the broadcast was. Drop a comment. Let us know how the broadcast was on your end, because we're so limited. We're so used to Facebook and Instagram, so to not have YouTube and Twitter on the list, it's a good feeling. And again, this is just getting ready for the big things in 2021. So Shay, thank you for this, and you guys have an awesome week and an even better day today. All right, peace.
Absolutely, peace.